Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a three-part series of videos where I'm going to talk a little bit about trying to answer some questions that commonly come up with regards to submitting content to the PharmSci 360 programming. We've titled this series, So You Want to Submit Programming to PharmSci 360, and we've organized it into a series of questions. And you can see the questions here. And the parts that we're breaking them up into. In the first part, we'll talk a little bit about what PharmSci 360 is in the context of other programming opportunities and learning opportunities within AAPS, and then also about how the conference is organized. And hopefully this gives you an appreciation for the different types of talks, what they're designed to do, and how you might get involved and submit some of your research for those opportunities. So let's start with the first part as this series. The first thing I wanted to mention was that PharmSci 360 is a conference hosted by the American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, AAPS, annually. It's part of the 4 seasons of science that AAPS is using now. That has been in place now for a few years. And the concept is that we want to have content available through all months of the year, each year. So AAPS hosts PharmSci 360, usually in October of every year. It's the largest of the conferences that AAPS hosts. It's in addition to the National Bioscience Conference, Land O'Lakes Conference, webinars, and other opportunities. It's created by pharmaceutical scientists for pharmaceutical scientists. And you'll get a sense of that as we go through the video series here about the involvement of people in industry, academia, and government to put this conference together along with the staff of AAPS. This year, the conference is going to be in Boston. The date is October 16th through 19th. So mark your calendars and plan ahead to attend. This year, it will be fully in person, unlike the last 2 years. So plan to visit us in Boston. One important note is that the conference is open to anybody, whether you're a member or not. But it is specifically for pharmaceutical scientists. So whether you're interested in attending, or maybe you have colleagues that you would also like to encourage to attend, it's a great conference, continuing to deliver terrific content. And part of this 3-part series, I hope you get a sense of the effort that goes into creating the best content for the conference every year. PharmSci 360, again, is part of many opportunities to learn through AAPS, and I've listed some of them here. There are opportunities, quickly I'll go around these, student chapter meetings. We have plenary sessions this is all within PharmSci 360. We have plenary speakers that are internationally known, often Nobel laureates. You would get a chance to hear many networking opportunities within the conference itself. There's a career center for those earlier in their career or maybe even later in their career. Many volunteering opportunities both before the conference and during the conference. Again, great networking opportunities through volunteering. We have partner presentations from CROs or other organizations. Every year we have a great opening ceremony where we highlight the AAPS recipients of awards for that year, along with newly inducted fellows. There are community meetings based on the communities that are part and an integral part of AAPS this year. And that is an opportunity for each of those communities to have an annual meeting, get together, again, some more networking. The Solution Center is an area very well represented and a great opportunity to interact with CROs or other providers. Mentor breakfasts are great places to help younger people in their careers. But at the bottom is where I'm going to focus for most of these 3 videos. It's the scientific programming that comes into PharmSci 360, probably the most important part of the conference. And these 3 videos will highlight not only how we have the programming come into the conference, but also some information for the presenters of that information. So let's talk a little bit about that. The place I'd like to start in thinking about how the conference is organized is based on the types of scientific content, the types of presentations that are available within the conference. The first one is a bit unique, and we won't focus much on this, but it is a key piece of the conference, and that's the posters. So posters are submitted for acceptance through the abstract screening committee. They're reviewed through a separate committee, selected, and that same committee is also responsible for selecting best abstracts, best poster. So when you see those awards at the conference, that comes through the abstract screening committee. For points 2 through 7, this is really organized and managed through the scientific program committee. And I'll talk a lot more about the SPC in coming slides. But for now, let's just focus on the types of presentations that can be given. Numbers 2 and 3 work together. The symposia are comprised of 4 linked 30-minute presentations of 4 different speakers. They're based on and aligned with tracks and themes for that day. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Prior to each of the 4 linked 30-minute presentations, there's a prologue, 30-minute prologue. For the 30-minute prologue, the idea for the presentation is to give a background for attendees that will attend the next 4 presentations in the symposium, to minimize redundant information, and to ground attendees in the relevant scientific space or pose provocative questions. Number 4 is a speaker spotlight. That's a 1-hour presentation by one speaker in a high impact area of research. These are invited speakers that are organized by track. Number 5 are keynote speakers, 1-hour-long talks by a speaker that's well known in the field. Again, invited per track for a total of 6 per track. Number 6 is hot topics. These are 1-hour-long sessions that have some flexibility in the format. They could be roundtables, debates, presentations. So there's some allowance for some creativity in how to pull these together. But the concept is that these are very current topics that are of interest to people in that particular track. There are 2 that are presented per track, and again, some flexibility of anywhere from 1 to 4 speakers as part of that particular hot topic. The last type of presentation is a rapid fire. This is the opposite extreme in terms of duration, where these are 10-minute presentations followed by 3 minutes Q&A of very current research, very quick hitting, with very focused in the presentation. And those are organized as 4 rapid fires together. Now the rapid fires are organized by a separate committee also, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Okay, so I've mentioned tracks, and hopefully that you've seen this before and are familiar with the 6 tracks that have been selected over the last few years for PharmSci 360. They're shown here. They are the Discovery and Basic Research track, the Preclinical Development track, Bioanalytics, Clinical Pharmacology, Manufacturing and Analytical Characterization, Formulation and Delivery. So those 6 tracks are key to the way the conference is organized, and you'll see this threaded through the slides that are coming up. Each of these tracks are also further subdivided into subtracks. Every track except for discovery and basic research. And those subtracks are linked to either chemical or biomolecular research, meaning small molecule or macromolecule. So you'll see this in the way the conference is organized, that not only is it stratified by track, but it's also stratified generally by chemical or biomolecular subtrack. I'd like to spend a little bit of time showing you a mock-up of the way the conference is organized and the way it will be organized in Boston. The conference runs over 3 days. Each day, there are, running from 8:30 to 5 o'clock, a variety of opportunities to present work, the ones that I just went through on the last couple slides. So now you can see how they come together in terms of timing through the day. And let me walk you through this a little bit. So on the left-hand side, we start with each track, each day, for each subtrack, having a prologue and a symposium in the morning, a break, then a keynote speaker, and then a rapid fire session. And again, this happens both for the chemical and the biomolecular subtrack for each track, each day. Concurrent with the presentations that are happening through the day on the left-hand side are hot topics and speaker spotlights. These are a little bit unusual in that they don't happen for each track and each slot. There's actually a smaller number that are randomized through the days. So there's a total of 2 hot topics per track that take up any of 4 slots per day. Speaker spotlights run concurrently, 3 of them concurrently, where you have 3 per track randomized across the 3 days. And then at the same time, concurrently, you also have the exposition for posters and exhibitors in the booths. So that's the end of this first video, highlighting the context of PharmSci 360 and how the conference is organized. In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about where the content comes from, how it's chosen to fill out the programming, and then what speakers should expect if you're selected to speak. So join me on the second video.